There is a chance that if you yourself do not have some sort of autoimmune condition, you know at least one person who you are close to who does. Lupus, diabetes, Hashimoto's, leaky gut syndrome, thyroid issues, IBS, cancers, and more. Although this is very common today, this is not normal. Just a few centuries ago, these conditions were not as common as they are now. If you're always tired, bloated, anxious, or in pain, you might think it's just stress, genetics, or bad luck. But the real culprit could be sitting right on your plate. Not only is this not normal, this is also not an accident. The foods that we're told are normal or even healthy are often filled with chemicals, additives, and ingredients that silently inflame your body and damage your health. All while billion-dollar corporations profit from your suffering, all through the food industry, the chemical industry, and the pharmaceutical industry. From the grocery store to the doctor's office, we've been sold a lie about what nourishment really is. And if you are not having proper nourishment, having good mental health, let alone a clear state of mind, is not likely. How can you improve yourself if you are not taking care of your body? In this video, we're going to uncover the hidden truth about the modern food industry, and by the end, I will show you how you can reclaim your energy, your clarity, and your health before it's too late by giving you some tips on what foods to buy to stay healthy and which foods you should avoid. It is all around us. Behind nearly every product on the shelf of grocery stores is a carefully engineered system designed to keep you hooked rather than nourish you. There's a small group of powerful corporations like Nestle, PepsiCo, Unilever, Coca-Cola, Kraft Heinz, General Mills, and Kellogg's that control the majority of the global food supply. These companies manufacture thousands of popular brands, and while the labels vary, the ingredients often don't. Refined sugars, inflammatory seed oils, synthetic additives, and chemical preservatives. These ingredients are designed to make food last longer, taste stronger, and become harder to stop eating. It sounds good if you're a corporation to make as much profit on your food products, but this comes at the expense of the consumer, as we will uncover in this video. But it also gets deeper than just what's in your food. These corporations also fund nutrition research, sponsor scientific journals, and cozy up to government agencies that set national dietary guidelines. This means that the very institutions we trust to tell us what's healthy are often taking cues from the same companies that profit when we get sick. These institutions include government agencies like the USDA, FDA, and CDC. Academic institutions and research bodies like many university research departments accept funding from food corporations, which can bias findings on nutrition and health. And journals that publish nutrition studies, who sometimes receive corporate sponsorship or feature studies commissioned by the food industry. And even non-profit health organizations like the Academy of Nutrition and Diabetics and the American Heart Association receive funding from giants like PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, and other food manufacturing companies. Public health campaigns tell us to count calories or avoid fat while quietly ignoring the damage done by ultra-processed, chemically altered foods that now make up the bulk of the modern diet. Books like Fast Food Nation by Eric Schlosser show how fast food transformed not only what we eat, but how food is produced, how workers are treated, and how communities suffer. Salt, Sugar, Fat by Michael Moss exposes how food scientists develop the bliss point, the perfect combination of ingredients to hijack your brain's reward system and keep you coming back for more. So in the end, what do we get? A public plagued by fatigue, obesity, chronic illness, and autoimmune disorders. All this while food and pharmaceutical companies see record profits. Understanding this system is the first step to escaping it, because once you see how deep the manipulation goes, you can begin to take your power back, starting with what you put on your plate. So let's look at which foods are keeping you sick so that you can avoid them. And then later in this video, we will go over what foods you should be eating. Here are the foods that keep you sick. Let's start off with industrial seed oils, such as canola, soybean, and and corn oil. These are inexpensive and prevalent in many processed foods. These oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which, when consumed in excess, can promote inflammation. Canola, soybean, and corn have been bred and genetically modified to be highly resistant to harsh environments and to grow year-round, but it helps to increase profits for corporations. Your body, to these crops, is also a harsh environment, and your digestive system has a hard time breaking these foods down. When that happens, undigested particles can pass through the gut lining, triggering the immune system to respond. Over time, this repeated immune response can create low-grade chronic inflammation throughout the body. This is often referred to as leaky gut, a condition where the intestinal barrier becomes compromised. As the immune system stays on high alert, it can start mistaking your body's own tissue, like your skin, joints, thyroid, or brain, as threats. This is how allergies can evolve into autoimmune diseases. What starts as food intolerance or sensitivity can, after years of irritation and overreaction, turn into conditions like Hashimoto's, rheumatoid arthritis, or lupus. It's a slow breakdown, hidden under everyday symptoms like bloating, fatigue, joint stiffness, or brain fog. Similarly, refined sugars and high fructose corn syrup can disrupt gut microbiota and contribute to metabolic disorders. Research in Nature Communications indicates that high sugar intakes alters gut microbiota composition, potentially leading to obesity and metabolic dysfunction. Next up, we have gluten and dairy. Gluten and dairy are common triggers for many individuals who are allergic to gluten or who are lactose intolerant or sensitive to dairy in some kind of way. A study in Nutrients found that gliadin, a component of gluten, increases intestinal permeability in all individuals, not just those with celiac disease. In dairy, research from University of Minnesota found that milk from grass-fed cows contains higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and conjugated linoleic acid, which are beneficial for health. So if you're going to eat dairy, it's best that you avoid anything that is not 100% grass-fed. Preservatives, emulsifiers, and flavor enhancers are found in pretty much all processed foods. A study published in Nature demonstrated that common emulsifiers like carboxymethylcellulose and polysorbate 80 can disrupt gut microbiota, leading to inflammation and metabolic syndrome in mice. Additionally, glyphosate, a common component in pesticides, is linked to cancers such as non-Hodgkin lymphoma, which is supported by a myriad of research and has led to several lawsuits against companies like Monsanto who used glyphosate in their pesticides. Finally, synthetic food dyes like Red 40, Yellow 5, and Blue 1 are linked to behavioral issues in children, and many contribute to immune dysregulation. Studies in The Lancet and by the FDA suggest that these dyes can cause hypersensitive reactions, and in some children, symptoms resembling ADHD, anxiety, and depression. There are decades worth of hundreds of studies that support this, leading to these dyes being banned in other countries outside of the US. Now, before we get into the foods that we should be buying, we need to look at how rigged the system is in favor of these food corporations. From the time that we're kids, we're fed and taught to trust the foods that eventually make us sick. We're told that cereal is a healthy way to start the day, that low-fat products are better than real whole foods, that packaged, processed meals are more convenient and somehow just as nutritious as anything home cooked. The 9-to-5 grind doesn't make it any easier to avoid these foods. These beliefs were carefully shaped by food pyramids promoted by government agencies, often backed by powerful industry lobbyists. School meal programs weren't designed with children's health in mind. They were instead influenced by corporations looking for new markets. Even mainstream diet advice we hear from popular media and some health professionals is often guided more by corporate sponsorship than by actual science. Books like The Case Against Sugar by Gary Taubes reveal how sugar companies spent decades redirecting attention away from the dangers of sugar and instead blaming fat. And in The Dorito Effect, Mark Schatzker explains how artificial flavors hijack our senses, making junk food taste like it contains real nutrients, even when it doesn't. As we've explored in other videos, this system thrives on confusion. When you don't know who to trust, you keep reaching for the same boxed solutions. But it's time to challenge what we've been taught and reclaim our health by questioning the institutions and industries that profit when we don't. Now here's what you should be eating. Whole, single ingredient foods that are unprocessed. Foods that grew in the ground without pesticides or genetic modifications, and meats that swam in a natural aquatic biome or grazed on open pasture. This includes seasonal vegetables and fruits, wild-caught fish, grass-fed meats, raw nuts, seeds, fresh herbs, and anti-inflammatory spices. These are the ingredients your body evolved with, the food that your ancestors ate. They contain the nutrients your cells need to repair tissue, regulate hormones properly, support brain function, and maintain a healthy immune system. Whole, unprocessed foods provide something processed foods never can. Real information for your biology. Every bite sends signals toward healing or toward imbalance. And when you eat foods that your body recognizes, you're giving it the raw materials it needs to function as it was designed to. Our bodies right now are filled with microplastics and other harmful chemicals from the processed foods that we eat. To heal, you not only have to add single ingredient whole foods back into your diet, you have to remember to also remove certain foods. For just 30 days, try cutting out the biggest inflammatory triggers: refined sugars, industrial seed oils like canola, corn, sunflower, safflower, and soybean oil, conventional dairy that is not 100% grass-fed, gluten, alcohol, I know that one might be hard for some of you, and ultra-processed snacks. Instead of using canola, corn, sunflower, safflower, and soybean oil, cook with avocado or coconut oil instead, and use olive oil at room temperature. You might be surprised at how quickly your symptoms start to shift, how that constant bloating fades, how your energy stabilizes, and how your mind clears. This is biology. When you stop triggering your immune system, your body finally has the space to recover. Books like The Immune System Recovery Plan by Dr. Susan Bloom lay out a 4-step path to healing chronic illness by using food, targeted supplements, and gentle detox strategies. And in the autoimmune solution, Dr. Amy Myers offers a blueprint for identifying your personal triggers and calming the immune system. These ideas are rooted in functional medicine, which focuses on addressing root causes rather than masking symptoms. And the information presented in those books are heavily cited with reliable scientific sources. Beyond food, there are simple daily practices that make a big difference. Learn to read food labels. Understand what those long chemical names actually mean. If it sounds like it came from a lab, your body probably doesn't want it. And cook more at home, because with this plan, over 90% of restaurants are off the table. You will also be saving money too. When you cook, you decide what goes in your body. You choose the quality. You protect yourself from hidden sugars, inflammatory oils, and artificial additives that quietly sabotage your health. And as much as possible, support local farms, organic produce, and regenerative agriculture. If you can, try growing your own food at home. You'd be surprised how easy it is even if you live in an apartment. Not only does doing all this nourish you, it supports a healthier food system for everyone. A system where nutrients matter more than shelf life, and where healing is possible. As I mentioned earlier, all these autoimmune conditions that you see in our current society is not normal. And at the end of the day, the same individuals who own the food industry also own the pharmaceutical industry and the chemical industry. If you want to learn more about how to take care of your mental health and to learn more about psychology, spirituality, and how the world affects you, then check out this video right here. Thanks for watching.